Nobody tells you this when you're learning to sew, but that professional finish that you're chasing, that beautiful inside of your garment being as pretty as the outside, has very little to do with your actual sewing machine. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to turn your DIY clothes from home sewn into high-end. And anybody can do these. Let's jump into it. The first tip is something I personally feel most strongly about, and it was one of the first things taught to me in university when I was studying luxury fashion, and it applies to your woven garments. That is, overlocked finishes on the seams are a big no-no. Now, before you come for me and get offended, hear me out. All this means is it is an indication of poor quality and low cost construction. So an alternative to this would be enclosing your seams, like popular French seams, flat fell seams. You can apply those around a curve as well. But if you're finding them too tricky to construct, then you can also have a look at bias binding the edges of your fabric. Now, you are the designer. There is nothing wrong with overlocking your seams and your edges if that is your preferred technique. I know that some people choose to do it in a contrast color thread. It can be a nice little design detail. But ultimately, overlocking wovens in the industry, in production, and in my view, is a sign of cheap construction. There are so many other alternatives out there to give you a nice, neat, high-end finish. This doesn't mean we have to throw our overlockers or our sergers, wherever you are in the world, in the bin. No. Keep them around. They are perfect for knits, for jerseys, for stretch fabrics. That is what overlockers are invented for. But why not challenge yourself to your next project to enclose a seam? Because an enclosed seam is basically constructing your garment in a way that all of the raw edges turn into a nice little parcel on the interior of your garments. There's no frayed edges. There's no overlock thread that is visible. Everything is just fabric that is tucked in neatly. And so a French seam, you would be putting 2 sides, wrong sides together and sewing a line of stitches before trimming away the excess, flipping it so that right sides are together and sewing it in place. Essentially, you're just doing an extra line of stitches. So yes, it's a longer process, but this is why it's a more luxurious finish. Overlocking is quick, it is labor and cost effective, and it is therefore an indication that clothes are inexpensive. Most of your high street clothes will have an overlocked finish, but if you own any designer or if you're making your clothes yourselves, why not give it that little extra je ne sais quoi and challenge yourself to an enclosed seam or a bias bound edge. As the designer, don't forget, you can also invent your own seam. Don't always follow an open seam or a welt seam, but why not try and push yourself beyond the overlocker? Tip number 2, and I'm going to say this until every single one of you has built it as a habit, is press every seam, especially before crossing it. Once you start to build confidence, sure, you can sew both shoulder seams and side seams and press all 4. But what I never want you to do is sew up your side seams and shoulder seams and then insert your sleeve and then try to press it. It is a recipe for disaster, and a golden rule is pressing can actually hide a multitude of sins. So you can already start there and improve the results of your garments by just making friends with the iron. Don't be afraid of it. Give it a good press. Equip yourself with tools like a tailor's ham to get around those hard edges and the more tricky areas. Set it with a clapper, and what you do is you just hold this over the seam just to cool everything down and set that seam in place. And if you've taken my tip from tip 1 and you've looked at bias binding your seams, or even if you are still stubbornly overlocking them, what you might find when you press a seam is that a ridge comes through. So if you've got an overlocked edge or a bias bound edge and you're pressing it with the iron, from the right side of a garment, you might end up seeing an unsightly ridge. All you want to do is tuck a bit of tissue paper or a pressing cloth between the seam and the outer edge of the garment, and you can press that without any ridges happening. Of course, a pressing cloth, be it a scrap piece of fabric or calico or cotton, something that takes a nice heat, stops you from damaging your fabric. Now, if you don't get into this habit, I don't know if we can be friends. And if you take nothing from this video other than to start pressing with intention, that will already transform the results of your garments, I promise you. So, tattoo it on your forehead, write it on a post-it note. engrave it into your sewing machine table, whatever you need to do. Sew, press. That's it. That's the habit. Tip number 3 might sound more intimidating than it actually is, but it is to match and align your seams and your prints. Now, most commonly, the areas where it comes to matching your seam lines are the armpit, where the sleeve seam and the side seam cross over. Don't forget, we should be pressing them first. And the crotch, where your front and back trouser legs meet together and you have that cross section of 4 seams. It's thrown off and it looks really cheap if you don't try to align them. Now, a top tip to do this is actually really simple. When you come to construct them, just make sure the pin you are using to secure everything together runs directly through the seam line. Very small changes, but this is all accumulating towards a good fit, which is ultimately what we want in a luxury garment. And so ensuring that you match not only your notches, but the seams that are intended to align, and your prints. Now, prints might be intimidating, and yes, if you have a repeat print, I actually have a fantastic video on this. I'll link it somewhere on the screen right now. But if you have a repeat print and you are trying to align it and match it, yes, you might come up with a little bit more fabric wastage than usual. However, it doesn't need to be intimidating. The goal is not to match your prints at every seam, but to match it at the most visible ones. So here on this pair of trousers, you can see that horizontally, this is matched at the center front of the crotch curve. If that was twisted at an angle slightly off, suddenly very, very visible to the eye. You want to have a nice horizontal stripe running around the balance of the body. So yes, we do want to try and match that at the side seams as well. But when you start to introduce things that contour a pattern, such as darts, and these are triangular wedges of fabric that we take out so that they can wrap around the 3-dimensional form of a body, being able to match your patterns and prints actually starts to become a lot more complex. So this is what I mean when I say we can't match every single area of the garment every single time. And so as the designer, it's up to you where you feel the pattern matching is most important. You can trace over your pattern and you can account for it in the seam allowance, and just make sure that when you are cutting out your pattern pieces, the trick is all in the preparation, that your pattern aligns from the start. When you are coming to pattern match on a top, and you have a horizontal line, for example, running across, you want to make sure that you are pattern matching that from the bodice running onto the sleeve and the sleeve head. I'll try and pop a few examples in here, but ultimately, don't let it intimidate you. It is easier done than said, almost. It truly is, and it really will make a positive, luxurious effect on your homemade garments. Now, tip number 4 causes the most resistance, I can't lie. But if you trust the process and believe in me, which I hope you do, I really want to challenge you to start hand finishing your hems over machine stitching them. Now, I am a little bit hypocritical here because there is always a time and a place when we are very keen to get our current sewing project off the sewing machine and onto our bodies, and the hem being usually one of the last steps in the construction process, it's so tempting to whip that under the machine. But what that causes, and on casual everyday garments, totally fine, is a visible line of stitching from the right side of the garment. But if you really want to elevate your me-mades, say you're doing a tailored trouser, a skirt, a jacket or a blazer, hand finishing that hem, having an invisible stitch line that you have poured over and taken care with really will elevate the quality of your garments. This is when you're starting to tip it into couture techniques and methods. If that feels like you're rolling your eyes at me, you're like, why are you making a very long process even longer? Please, may I just challenge you to at least try and hand sew one element of your next project. Doesn't even have to be your hem. It could be hand sewing a label into the center back. It could be hand sewing your waistband and enclosing that by hand. But I promise you, once you start to get into the habit of befriending the hand sewing needle and letting the sewing machine have its moment and have its time, but giving it that care and that nurture to do finishing touches with hand sewing techniques, I promise you, you will see the result. And a hand sewn hem doesn't have to be a prick stitch or a slip stitch. You can do beautiful hand rolled hems on fabrics or accessories such as silk scarves. It really is that perfect, delicate finish for the perfect, delicate garment. If you do want to follow through these tips methodically, then the slip stitch probably is your best friend and your good place to start. It just involves catching a couple of fibers of the fabric at a time and alternating between the side you're working on, from the exterior of the garment to the folded hem of the interior. And it really will give you that nice invisible touch. So have a little look at the inside of any expensive garment you might own, because I guarantee there's some level of hand sewing application to it. And if you don't own an expensive garment, have a look at all your high street ones, because they're all going to have cheap hem finishes. So why not break the pattern, break the mold, and start sewing high-end luxury finishes to your home sewn garments. Now, before we get into tip number 5, there's something that I just want to share with you, because everything I'm teaching today is grounded in the professional techniques that I teach inside the DPL Atelier, from professional construction and fitting to pattern drafting and designing with luxury details in mind. The Atelier is where that lives. I do actually have a standalone fashion file pack for fitting specifically, which I'm going to link below and we'll talk about in a moment. So, tip number 5. Now, if you enclose all your seams, if you press methodically, if you align your seam lines and your patterns, and if you hand sew elements of your design, if you do all of that, but your fit isn't correct, then none of these techniques are going to land, and you're not actually going to get the professional, luxurious result that you were hoping for. We know that a luxury feeling garment fits like a glove, feels comfortable, and is tailored to your unique figure. Now, this really is an entire topic on its own, and I've actually recently shared a video that you guys loved, sharing sewing fit tips to make your clothes feel expensive. They're quick wins when we know that fitting isn't a quick process, so I really encourage you to go and check that out. But I want to give you the absolute basics right now. So the first signs of a good fit is that our side seams should hang perpendicular to the floor. So a nice 90-degree angle and a nice straight line. If they're swinging forward or backwards, this is an indication that your pattern is off. We then want to have a look at the folds of fabric. Now, of course, we can deep dive into positive and negative ease, and some garments like oversized hoodies and jumpers are going to have a lot of excess ease to achieve that oversized fit. But if you're just looking at a standard block, which is the foundational starting point to any garment we design and turn into a more elaborate idea, then you want to have a look at the horizontal folds firstly, because any horizontal folds where fabric is bunching this way across the body is an indication that you have too much length. And any vertical folds where the fabric is almost in columns going across the body like this is an indication that your garment has too much width. Now, we always adjust the length before the width. It's really important actually that we follow an order when we come to fit our garments, because it all has a domino effect. And if you make adjustments to the width before the length, they're going to be adjustments that you actually make twice. And so before overwhelming yourself with sway back adjustments, full bust adjustments, let's just start at the basics and ground ourselves on what we're actually looking for a well-fitting garment. Now, you might have heard of drag lines and wrinkles and pointing to the problem, but I also want to give you a reminder that the goal is not to have a perfectly smooth fitting garment, because once we start walking and moving as a human being, natural folds and creases are going to arise anyway. So obviously, if we are stood still, then yes, we want to start to achieve a fit that is contoured to our unique frame. But once you start moving, if you're seeing folds and fabrics, that might just be the natural properties and creasing of a garment once it's on a living, breathing human form. So, seams perpendicular, horizontal and vertical folds also pointing to the very basics, which is length and width adjustments. Now, if you want a more structured introduction to fitting amendments where we take this a little bit further in a really affordable way, I've put together a fashion file pack. This is a really handy reference point and e-document or ebook that is just £4.99, and it'll break down what to look for and how to diagnose issues on your body. So I'll link that in the description down below. And of course, if you want the full experience, and I'm talking fitting clinics, one-on-one advice, the complete create, cut, contour, construct framework, personal guidance, access to a pattern library, and everything else I could possibly offer here at the Digital Pattern Library universe, then come and find us inside the DPL Atelier, because it really is a one-stop destination for learning the entire fashion process and applying it to a dream wardrobe that you're actually going to want to wear. I'm very proud of it, and I would love to welcome you to our creative community. And I will link everything below. And so there we have it, 5 sewing tips to help you separate a handmade home sewn garment from a luxury, expensive one. Enclosed seams, disciplined pressing, aligning and matching your seams and your prints, hand sewn elements, top marks for hand sewing those hems, and a good fit. None of them need to be difficult. All of them are habits. And like any habit, it starts with the next project. So if you found this video useful, do me a favor, click like and subscribe. It helps other makers like yourself discover me. And why not come and find me over inside the DPL Atelier, where I teach all of this and more to my members across our signature Create, Cut, Contour, Construct framework, so that you can start to design, make and wear your dream wardrobe. For now, stay safe, keep creative, and I'll catch you on the flip side.